So, good day everyone, especially to our instructor for this class, Mrs. Maria Estela Paulican. Good day, ma'am. So, before I proceed to my this is study presentation. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ayan Dag-um from Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, major in Agronomy. So, my thesis study entitled Growth and Yield Response of White Corn GMAs L to Different Fermented Indigenous Plant as Biofertilizer. My thesis advisor is Sylvia Minati Tergantes. So for the outline of my presentation, which is introduction, objectives of the study, time and place of the study, scope and limitation of the study, materials and methods, experimental design and treatments, data to be gathered, which is the agronomic characteristics, yield and yield components, and the last is layout of my experiment. So Corn GMSL is an important crop in the Philippines agriculture. Aside from being a food staple, is also a necessity for the livestock and poultry industry as the primary source of raw materials for feeds. It also being processed into high-value products including cornstarch, corn syrup, and corn oil and snack food. Corn GMSL farmers depend on their uh, or source of livelihood, while some traders or professors were also directly benefiting from corn production, processing, or marketing and distribution. Uh, by adding a fertilizer to the soil can improve the productions of crops such as white corn. Many rural communities have access to indigenous and traditional plants that are rich in micronutrients. It is an element required by us in small quantities. And iron, cobalt, chromium, iodine, copper, zinc, molybdenum are some of the micronutrients sa mga indigenous nga mga plant. So, which are likely to serve as long-term strategy to eliminate food insecurity and contribution to nutrients requirements para sa soils. And also indigenous plant help reduce air pollution. So, for the objectives of my study, generally this study aimed to know the growth and yield response of white corn in using different fermented indigenous plant as biofertilizer. Especially this study it aims to determine the phenology and yield performance of white corn as affected by different indigenous plant as biofertilizer. To determine the growth performance of white corn in terms of height, centimeter, at 15 to 30 and 45 days after planting, and identify which among the fermented indigenous plant as biofertilizer will give the highest yield in white corn. For the time and place of the study, this study will be conducted for one cropping season only from December to March 2022 at the Agriculture Experiment Center or IEC Central Mindanao University, Muswa Maramag, Bukidnon. For the scope and limitation of the study was limited only on the assessment of the effect of indigenous fermented plant juice to the field performance of white corn under the most one condition for one cropping only. For the materials and methods, the materials and requirements used in the study were seeds of white corn, land preparation equipments, plow and harrow. And the mga indigenous plant which is the spiny amaranth, tipig, weed, and sickle senna, and the muscovado sugar. Measuring device, uh, meter stick, and tape measure. Other materials is the stick, string, placards, pen and markers, record books, and for bolo, uh, for reading, and camera for documentation and working animals. For the soil samples, sampling analysis, the soil sample will be taken randomly in the experimental area following the recommended protocol. It will be analyzed at the Soil at Plantation Testing Laboratory or SPAL of the Department of Soil Science of Central Mindanao University. For my experimental design and treatments, the study will be led in randomized complete block design or CBD consisting of 5 treatments and 3 replication. The treatments are as follow. So my treatments, treatment number 1 is for the control without application. Mm. Treatment 2 which is the spiny amaranth, amaranthus spinosus. For treatment 3 is sham weed, which is Coramedia odorata. Or for the T4, T-pig, Ficus cata, and the T5 is sickle sina or Sena tora. Preparation of fermented endogenous plant juice. Preparation of fermented juice. The leaves of spiny amaranth, sham weed, and sickle senna and the tipig fruit will be collected. 1 kilogram mixtures of this plant will be chopped into pieces and mixed with 1 liter of muscovado sugar and 250 ml of rich milk. The setup will be placed in the earthen pot, covered with the manila paper and secured tightly with a rubber band. The pot will be buried in the cool, dry place with cover uh, soil. After 2 weeks, the juice will be taken out from the container. The extract will be strained using mist cloth and will be ready for application. Cultural and management practices. Uh, for the cultural and management practices, which is for the land preparation. The area will be thoroughly prepared prior to planting. Initial plowing is to be done by a working animal for a deeper cultivation and let kill for idle for the 2 weeks to allow weeds to decay and suppress its germination. Second plowing and harrowing at a week's interval will be done. For planting, uh, 1 seed per hill will be planted after application of basal fertilizer to 70 cm between rows and 25 cm per hill. The seeds will be covered with a thin soil or foot pressed so that there will be directly contact with seed in the soil for better and uniform germination. Manual weeding will be done to prevent the growth weed especially between hills. For care and maintenance, hand weeding will be done regularly to attain good stand of the crop. Of bearing cultivation will be done at 15 days after planting to suppress germinating weeds. Hilling up cultivation will be done 2 weeks after of bearing. And checking regularly will be done of monitoring the status of a crop. For pest management, the plant will be sprayed with any synthetic pesticide when there will be a sign of occurrence of insect pest and diseases. It will be applied when insect pest reach their thresholds level. So for the foliar fertilizer application, uh, 2 tablespoons of fermented juice in 1 liter water will be added. Spraying will be done using the knapsack sprayer to the respective plots where application is needed. The organic foliar fertilizer will be applied early in the morning or late in the afternoon, 6 to 7 a.m. and also for the PM for 4 to 6 p.m. application will be done at 2 weeks interval. So for the harvesting, sweet white corn is ready to be harvested at 70 to 80 days after planting, while corn earns harvested at the milk stage where the kernels have not fully mature and the kernels are smooth and plump and the juice in the kernels spread milky when punctured with thumbnail or humok na siya, and other signs suggested that the white white corn will be ready for harvesting when there is drying and browning and silk fullness and on the tip kernels and firmness in the unhacked ears. Uh, for the uh, data to be gathered, uh, uh, these morpho agronomic characteristic, days to emergence is this will be obtained by counting the numbers of days from sowing to at least 50% of the plant showed emergence of shock shows above the soil surface. For the plant height centimeter, uh, 10 randomly selected plant per treatment will be labeled for the data on plant height and measured by using tape measure or meter stick. This can be gathered at 15 to 30 and 45 days after planting. For the days to tasseling, this will be taken from planting up to the time with 50% of plant it is plant produce tassel. Days to sulking, uh, this will be taken from planting up to time when 50% of plant is unproduced silk. Air height centimeter, this will be measured from the first node above the soil to internode uh, soil to the node where air emerge. Days to maturity, this will be recorded by counting the number of days from sowing to harvesting. For the uh, yield and yield components, air diameter centimeter, the same randomly selected uh, plant will be used in measuring the air diameter. It will be measured using tape measure. Air length, uh, the same 10 randomly selected plants will be used in measuring the air length. The length of each sample will be measured from the base of the cob up to the point where the last kernels is located. So air weight with has, this will be obtained by weighing all marketables and non-marketable ears separately per entry using a digital weighing scale. So for the air weight without hash, this will be obtained by weighing all marketable and non-marketable ears separately per entry using a digital weighing scale. Number of ears harvested. This will be taken by counting all the hatched ears per plant. And for the last of my presentation, which is the field, my field layout of the experiment. Uh, the appendix figure is the field layout of my experiment. Total area is 520 square meter. Plot size is 5. Uh, as you can see for the in the center, 5 meter by 5 meter. A number of replication is 3. A number of treatments is 5. So that could be all, and thank you for listening. God bless us all.